overall.
Mayor, what was it like celebrating last night, winning the Big Ten, winning the sheriff? What was that like for this team to get to experience that and go through that before you start this third season?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Obviously, Coach talks about it all the time, how it's harder to win a Big Ten championship than to win a national championship just because you have to be so good for 10 weeks. And, 9 teams in the Big Ten made it into the tournament, so it's just a testament to how strong and how hard this conference is. And so I think for us, like you said, it's a big confidence booster going in, just knowing that we've played a lot of really tough teams all year long and we've had to figure out ways to win or ways to learn if we didn't pull it out. And so I think for us it's just a big confidence boost going in, and obviously it's always fun to win a championship. So it was fun for us to celebrate and just be together and enjoy all the little moments that we have together.
19 of your 31 matches were against tournament teams this year. How do you feel like the schedule you guys played this season has prepared you for the tournament now?
Yeah, it was a crazy season. Our preseason was, I felt like the toughest I've ever been a part of, and I feel like it was one of the toughest that Nebraska's had in a while. And to get some of those early wins against top 10 opponents, I feel like really prepared us for a long Big Ten season. And then, I feel like the Big Ten with the travel schedule and with everything is pretty difficult, but I think we handled it really well and we performed week after week. And I'm just really proud of our team for how great we did all year. So
Lexi, what do you feel like you accomplished winning the Big Ten this season?
I think just with the new additions, the new 4 teams, it was the hardest it's ever been. And I think to get that championship just shows how great of a team we are. You really have to be on your A game every single weekend. And as you guys can see, it comes down to the last weekend, the last game. And so it just kind of is a testament to how much work you have to put in day after day for such a long period of time. And I think it just shows how consistent we were all year and how we were able to maintain kind of that level of play throughout the entire Big Ten season.
Mary, you like to say you take something from every single match. What did you take from Penn State that you can use going forward?
Yeah, we watched film back and looked at stats the next day, and on paper we should have won that match other than kills. And so, we outdug them, outblocked them, all of those categories. Like, we should have won on paper. And, that's sports. Sometimes, it doesn't fall your way, and there were a lot of swings where we were going high, hard, and didn't get a touch or it didn't land in, and that's the reality of sports sometimes. But I think what we took away from that game was we didn't roll over and die, which is ultimately what we did earlier in the year against SMU, is we got swept, we rolled over, we died, we didn't know what to do. And I think Lexi and I were talking about it the next morning, we fought back in the second set and we fought till the very last point, even when it wasn't going our way. And I think that for us, obviously we wish we would have won that game, like every single one of us does, but taking that away and just knowing that we're still going to go for it even when we're down or even when it's not going our way, and we're just when is it going to land our way, and we didn't roll over and die. And I think for us that's huge confidence. Obviously there's things that we can work on and offensively things we can get better at and be smarter with, but I think that was the biggest thing that Lexi and I took away, was just that step in the right direction from being swept and rolling over and dying and then continuing to fight.
Lexi, how does the vibe change now that it's tournament time? Or does it not, because you guys have been grinding for the Big Ten title over the last 10 weeks?
I think there's always a little bit of a change. Obviously, you have preseason where it's you're kind of getting used to things, getting used to playing again, lineups, all that stuff. And then Big Ten is just a dogfight for a couple months long. And then now it's the finish line. It's the race to the end. And I think it's kind of that switch of okay, everything we've done, we just have to find a way to do it for 3 more weeks and find a way to consistently be good over the last games that we have left. So I think a little bit of a mind switch, but I think overall just trying to stay in routine, stay with the same mindset of okay, we've been doing this, we have the confidence, and we can get the job done.
Is there anything you guys lean on from the way things went last postseason that you guys are already talking about now or have been talking about?
I think early on in the year, there was definitely a little bit of chatter and talk about it, but I think we kind of nipped it in the bud, honestly, and just we were like, it's a new year, we're a new team. Like, it can be fuel for the fire, but also like we have to be present. And so I think going into the tournament, it'll probably come up a little bit. Big Tens, we kind of were like, it doesn't matter what happened last year. Like, this is a new year, and we kind of put that to the side. But I definitely think that's something that'll probably start coming up here coming into the tournament. Just everyone remembers that, and we don't want that to happen again. So I'm sure it'll be used as fuel and motivation going into this tournament. But I mean, like Lexi said, we just try to stay in routine and try to just do what we do every single day and not overcomplicate it. And I think that's what makes this group so special, is like we're playing volleyball like we do for hours on end. So I'm sure it'll be used as motivation, but it's also just about remaining in who we are and playing Nebraska volleyball and simplifying it in the big moments as much as we can.
And then I think I heard you guys react when you were called on the show. Finally, if you guys were in the building, what did that feel like, seeing that, the reveal?
Oh, seeing us get revealed. I mean, super cool. I think just being the number 2 seed overall is a celebration for us, and just another testament to how much work we put in since the beginning of the season. And so, yeah, super exciting. And to get to celebrate here and be a top 4 seed means we get to play at home. So that's always super exciting. I think we're really happy about that. So I think that's the biggest excitement.
John mentioned before on Saturday morning, you and him sat down and talked. I mean, how important was that for you to have that match that you did against Maryland, to kind of be Merritt Beeson and have a match like that going into the postseason?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, I talked to Lexi that morning. I talked to Bergen that morning. Like, lots of conversations were had. And I don't know, I think for me, it was, I told Coach, like, I just need to be Merritt, and I need one game to feel like Merritt again. And I think that's ultimately what Maryland was for me, is just a good reminder. Like, you know, it's hard when you're at this level and you're at such a high program and you're playing in such a top conference. You can kind of get in ruts sometimes, and I was like, I just need to feel it for once and I'll be good. And I think Maryland obviously was a great game for me, but and a great game for our team. And it was a cool moment being able to end on that. But yeah, it just went back to focusing on being Merritt, and that's I wouldn't have done that without Lexi and Bergen and Coach, and probably those conversations helped me a lot and just kind of allowed me to go into the game with a lot of peace. But yeah, just got to be Merritt.
Other questions? Merritt, what are your overall thoughts on the field in general, and especially your path to potentially getting to the Final Four?
Yeah, I think we're really excited. I mean, volleyball everywhere in the United States is growing, and so like the field is so level now, and there's a ton of great teams who can make great runs and upset people, and volleyball is just more spread out, to where a few years ago it was like, okay, well, here's your top 4 teams and we know that. So it's really exciting, but it's also more pressure and more, you got to bring your A game each and every night of each round of the tournament now. And so I think for us, it'll just be continuing to focus on who's ahead of us and not looking too far forwards, just because every team in this tournament is going to be really good.
Florida name's kind of your area.
Yeah, I played them twice. Like, this will be my 3rd time in the tournament playing them, either my 1st or 2nd round. So I'm very familiar with that team, played them a lot. But yeah, it'll be kind of weird just because it's like a little memory of my first 2 NCAA tournaments. So.
Lexi, did it feel different winning the Big Ten this year than last year in many ways?
I wouldn't say different. I mean, obviously every single year is different, but I think this one was just more enjoyable, more exciting, more just because it's like there's no other way that I would want to end like my senior year of like conference than with a Big Ten title. So I think it was a little more special, just because, I mean, Big Ten championships are hard to do. I didn't get one until last year, and so to have 2 leaving is just such a huge accomplishment for our whole entire team and for this program. And so, yeah, I mean, every year is different, but this one was definitely super special.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I was so damn cold last night from, I literally had to get home and get in the shower to warm up. It was frozen.
Questions for Coach?
What was your reaction after you saw Nebraska, kind of the bracket reveal before Nebraska fell in that?
I mean, you're playing good this year. You're playing good teams, and there's going to be a lot of great matches. Like Holly said, it's really, really balanced and competitive. It's going to probably be the most dynamic, results-oriented tournament ever. And so I don't get too worked up on it. We got to find a way to get 2 wins this weekend and worry about next week. So, but you're going to play great teams, and so that's just, so I don't get too worked up. We owe Florida A&M because they beat us in 04. So.
Did you bring that up to the team yet?
Oh yeah.
Half of them aren't even old enough.
Yeah, they were all saying I wasn't even born. Yeah, well, I was there, so I saw it.
What do you remember from that 2004 match?
It was over in the Coliseum, and they had it was an international team that they had, a lot of international players. So they were good.
What feels most rewarding about winning the Big Ten this year?
Going back to back's a big deal, but I think the biggest thing is when those 4 teams went in the Big Ten, my first reaction was, okay, we've won the Big Ten before. You just kind of know your routine. It's how many times you play some of these other teams in the Big Ten. And you play them once, you play them twice. That's kind of how it goes, right? And well, this year it was completely a new thing, and so I thought, okay, here's another great challenge, and this is a great challenge for us to try to win this new conference, kind of a super conference with those 4 teams in there, plus all the added travel that you're going to have. And we had 3 home matches in the month of November, and so there's a lot of different challenges now, and the Big Ten was really good. We got 9 teams, but so I think it was just a really good challenge. So it feels really great to win it because it's a new challenge, and it was the toughest it's ever been.
9 of your 11 non-conference opponents made the tournament. 7 of them were seeded. How do you feel like that played out with your non-conference this year?
Yeah, we had a very tough non-conference. We have the most wins against top 10 teams, and but we wanted to challenge this team, and so that's good. That's what I told them. I want them to feel confident that they've had a great season, and mentally prepare them for the tournament. It's not easy to win these Big Tens. Again, you got to do. Amy wrote a great article about it. It's 10 weeks. You got a lot of things have to go right. You got to get breaks. You got to do a great job of managing these guys over 10 weeks, and figuring out, playing all these other. And here's the other thing: we broke an attendance record every place we played. I mean, they had 13,000 last night at Maryland. So we're playing in all these gyms for the first time that are selling out. So another great accomplishment by our team, and that's what, Brett, that's what makes it feel great, and like it's a major accomplishment that we got done because of all those challenges. And anyway.
Before this week, what felt like the big win in the Big Ten that gave you a chance to contend when you got to the last?
I think winning at Wisconsin was okay, because we've lost there a lot, right? In fact, Nate pointed out, we've lost 4 out of the last Black Fridays we've lost. 3 of them have been on the road. So we got to get that fixed with the Big Ten, that 3 out of the last 4 years we've been on the road Thanksgiving. And, we got back at 2:30 in the morning last night. I mean, it's a tough trip after, especially the whole month of November. So, I mean, our players did a fantastic job, and the Penn State match was a great match, and we had to come back, and we were a little shaky last night and then got it going. But it ain't easy.
Can you talk about how you recover from all the traveling? Is that something you can reveal at all?
Well, the biggest thing is getting sleep, And the problem is, you know, when you play at Penn State, I mean, it's really hard to go to sleep, and we travel after the match. So then you got, you know, we fly, then we got an hour bus drive to get to the hotel. So the key is trying to get sleep. When you're on the road, they've got to hydrate. We try to stay in a routine. But where it really hits us is like today. You know, I'm sure a lot of them took naps today and got extra sleep, but we'll go through a recovery workout tomorrow. We're going to have kind of a mini yoga session, stuff like that. Try to give them some downtime, because we've literally been together for half this month on the road. We pretty much, these guys have all been together, so we want to give them a little space before we crank it back up. But they got to take care of themselves. They got little, you know, rehab stuff that they do. So it's managing their bodies and their minds and trying to get them rested.
John, you've had some selection Sundays that have been a little bit stressful, and there's always been some intrigue after the bracket's been revealed. Does this maybe feel a little bit different? That, I mean, maybe there was a better sense of where you would be and what it would all look like?
Well, I haven't thought that much about it, but it felt pretty good. I mean, every bracket's tough. I mean, you're going to have to beat great teams, but that's what we have to do in the Big Ten. So we're used to it. So I just feel like the committee did a pretty good job. I mean, they were predicting back there, you know, who was going where, and our guys were pretty accurate. How the seeds played out. They were like already saying so and so is going to be here, here, and here. And, you know, we knew there was a chance we could get Wisconsin in our bracket. We knew there's a chance we could get Texas in our bracket, Creighton. Those are kind of the three that were hovering in that area. So, but I thought I think it's going to be a fun tournament to watch.
Do you appreciate winning conference championships more than you did earlier in your career?
Heck yeah.
Why?
Well, we went. Remember when I was here in the 2000s in the Big 12, I mean, we went like 90 straight matches or something and won, you know, it was just like, okay, what else is left? You know, you're just winning it every year. And now, coming in the Big Ten, it's a monumental achievement to get it done. It's really hard. I mean, how many teams have even won Big Ten championships, you know, recently? And now with these 4 new teams in, it just raised the bar.
John, getting to play at home, I mean, you're not going to have to leave until the Final Four should you make it. How important is that, and what have you learned over being able to play in front of the home crowd for regionals, again, assuming you advance?
Yeah, I'm putting it on our crowd. They're going to will us to Louisville. They better will us to Louisville. That's their assignment. And I think they're going to be pumped because we haven't played very many matches in the last month. So they should be pumped, and I'm sure, you know, there's just a lot of excitement in college volleyball now. I mean, 13,000 last night at Maryland. It was unreal. And there's just a lot of excitement, so tickets are going to probably be tight, and I'm probably going to have to take care of our student sections. So whatever I need to do to get those guys fired up.
Was that 13,000? Was there a lot of Nebraska fans? Was it loud for when you were scoring points there? What was the atmosphere?
It was loud for both teams. Yeah, it seemed like it was about 50-50 to me. But just that arena is a massive arena, and they do a really nice job. I don't know if you've been there, but like the one end zone, it is straight up. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unreal how they designed it. So there's great seats in there, but you know they got the boards, the sound system, all that stuff going. And what was tough was this weekend was the first time we played on wood the whole season, so that was different. But then it was back to the old days, and I told the players in the old days, you know, they didn't have portable baskets, so we played on game matches in gyms where there was baskets there, and of course if you went back there and hit it, they'd replay it. And, you know, but they were having trouble even moving the baskets out of the way for our practice because when they moved them, there's trash everywhere. So those things haven't been moved in who knows how long. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you're playing on a basketball court, so it was really weird. This huge gym, you got these lines and you got 3-point lines and everything going on. And so it took us a while to get comfortable. Yeah, but you know, if they could have Terraflex in there, it'd be a really cool place to play.
John, what gives you confidence that this team can make a deep run here in the postseason?
You know, Kevin, I just talked to him about it. You know, if you look at where we started in January, all the things that we've had to go through, the challenges with our team, a lot you guys know about, a lot you don't know about, but they have really, really worked through a lot of stuff to get to this point. I just talked to him about stats from last year compared to this year. We're significantly better in every statistical category than last year. We lost fewer games this year in the Big Ten than we did last year. So I was just trying to point out, man, we're a better team than we were last year, and we had a great shot at that last year. So I want them to believe, and I want them to realize last year was kind of this magical ride, and this year's there's been a lot of things that have challenged us, and they've worked through it. And again, I'll give those two captains that were just in here a lot of the credit, because they have managed and got this team through it, and we've added some new players. We had players leave. So they've built a very strong bond and have been through a lot. And so those are the kind of things that give you the intangibles to help win these great matches we're going to have to play.
Final questions?
After all the times you played in that really small gym at Maryland, what was it like to walk in and see 13,000?
I kind of miss that little gym. It was a little cracker box. The difference was, you know, at least they have kind of a somewhat of a volleyball court in there. It's just, but their arena is a really nice arena. So, but I like the small gyms. That goes back to the old days. I mean, we used to just go over and practice in Maple Leaf sometimes just to go over there because it was so loud and echoed in there, and I don't know. It's just the old school stuff.
Did the Maryland coaches say anything to you about helping to contribute to that?
They were really. I think they were kind of just blown away, like what was going on. And of course, they had senior night afterward. Which, I mean, think of those seniors. They have like 8 or 9 seniors, and they're all out there, and a lot of people stayed. So what a special night for them. And but I think it's again another step for a program now. If they can capitalize on that in recruiting, I mean, that's huge. They can go around and say, hey, we got 13,000. You know, now they know, they've seen it, and they can do it. And, you know, maybe it'll help them build a new facility or something. That's what I'm hoping happens. Because they really should have their own volleyball facility there, because that gym they play in is really an add-on gym. It's not really a, I mean, have you been in there? It's metal bleachers and, yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.